Hi, welcome to Polly Talbot's Kitchen.
Hi, I don't know about you, but I have not been exactly really good about how I'm eating, and I usually am. So I thought it would be a good idea. You know, we're not used to being home for lunch as much either. So all day long, we're kind of looking for what's the next meal. So I thought I would show you something that you can make. You can make ahead of time. It's also good served at room temperature. You can have it for a quick lunch. But we're going to make quinoa. Quinoa is a very high source of protein, so it's great if you're a vegetarian or if you just don't want to eat as much meat, or if you didn't get to the store yet and you have no meat, whatever. Quinoa is it's a grain, but it's really actually a seed. The Incas used to call it the mother grain because it's so high in protein. So it's a really good thing to know about if you have vegetarians in your family. It's a great thing to know how to cook. Of course, I came over here without my knife. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to cut up some vegetables. So I'm going to show you a few things, and then we'll cut everything up. We're going to cook some onions with some red pepper. I have a yellow squash. I have some asparagus. It's begging me to use it. So you can mix and match the vegetables, whatever you have, you can put in. You can even put raisins in. You can put pine nuts in or some other kind of nuts that you like. It's a great thing. We're going to add some turmeric and some cumin when we're cooking it. So it's just very versatile. It's like quinoa is like a chameleon, so it takes on the flavors that you put with it. It's delicious. It's got kind of a nutty texture feel to it. It's fun to cook. So first I'm going to show you how to cut up the vegetables, and then we'll cook the quinoa. A red pepper, or any color pepper, obviously, is kind of hard to cut. This is my favorite way to do it. This one has somewhat of a flat bottom, but if it doesn't, you want to make a flat bottom. Put it down to the side. You know, if you cut through the middle, the seeds kind of like fly everywhere. If you put it down like this, you can cut around just like this. And you've got all your seeds right in the center. And so as long as you don't disturb them, they stay where they belong. Then we're going to put these, you can even double them up if you want. We're going to put them skin side down. And then we're going to dice them. So you can just dice these. There is one seed. You can just dice these into small pieces. We're going to cook these along with the onion. We're going to start out with the onion. Then we're going to add a little garlic. And then we're going to have, then we'll add the pepper or the squash and the asparagus a little later because they won't take as long to cook. Let me just show you each thing that we're going to be cutting, and then I'll finish off camera so you don't have to watch everything. You want to have a garbage bowl. I always, at the school, I call this Rachel Ray's garbage bowl because she really almost invented it all of a sudden. But it is great to have a bowl. Even though my garbage is right over here, it's great to have it right on the counter with you. Okay, so what we're going to do when we cut this yellow squash is we're going to take a little bit off the bottom. And now we have a flat side. You see now it's easier to cut because it's steady. And then we're just going to cut some strips like this. Now, if you're going to grill vegetables, this is a great tip for grilling vegetables. You cut them just like this, and you can grill them, and they don't fall through the grill because they have like this flat side, so they won't fall through the grill. So once you get them like this for our purposes today, we're also we could do almost anything. Let's think of something different. Let's do something like this. Give them a little different shape. You want to keep them so they're no more than bite-sized. People don't want to have to cut them once they go in. But these will be nice compatible size with the asparagus. So we can have them like this. I'll finish these after so you can see that. So that's the way we're going to cut the yellow squash. And now with this asparagus, if it's very thick, I usually peel it. This is all washed, but we're not going to peel these little skinny ones because they're going to take a long time to peel and they're not going to be that much fun to peel. But I do. There's one way you can kind of tell where they're ready to break. You can break them off. They kind of break where they should. And even though these have been in my refrigerator, oh gosh, I don't remember how long, but they're still nice and fresh. The drawers in my refrigerator keep things nice and fresh. But we're going to cut these in about 1-inch pieces. So after we get these all cleaned up, we'll cut them about like that. Okay, and these will go in, and these will cook in about the same amount of time as the yellow squash. So we're gonna put that on a plate together. I love to use these little paper plates, get all my mise en place ready, lined up, ready to go. That way everything's orderly and clean. I am gonna do an onion, and I'll show you how to do an onion if you haven't seen that yet. Whenever you have anything round, you gotta give yourself a flat side. So we're gonna give ourselves a flat side here. Put it on the flat side. As soon as you get a flat side, it's easier to handle, okay? That we're gonna cut through here. And again, we're gonna lay it on the flat side and make 2 little slits. And the 2 little slits help to get that layer of skin off. To kind of just release it a little bit. Now, this part, we are gonna dice this one up. So we're gonna take advantage of the layers of the onion. You see they have these layers inside. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this way. And we're cutting, you notice we're cutting up to the root end, but we're not cutting through the root end. And I had to change my hand grip a little bit as I'm going along so that I could hold it firmly. And then we're just gonna take this knife and we're just gonna go through, and you can see we have our little diced onions. Okay, the pieces will be as small as you make your the distance apart you make them. So then once you see it gets a little bit uncomfortable, you're just gonna lay it flat. So we're gonna do the onion. We're also gonna do a piece of garlic. I'm just gonna do 1 piece of garlic. And that's how you get the skin off. If you do that hard enough, most of your mincing work is done. I'm gonna keep this separate because I don't like to add it at the same time that I add the onion, but just a few minutes later. So we'll just mince this up. And then we're ready to start. Okay, here you're not gonna see me, you're just gonna see the pans because I want you to see what's happening. Back here we're gonna be cooking the quinoa. I have 2 cups of water in there that I'm gonna bring to a boil. And I'm gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I have 1 cup of quinoa. So it's 1 cup of quinoa to 2 cups water. Now quinoa, even 15 years ago, 10 years ago, they used to tell us to rinse it because there was a coating on it called saponin, which is like nature's way to repel insects. That's what's on it in nature. But nowadays, all our quinoa here is washed already, so you don't need to wash it anymore. Some of your older recipes will tell you to rinse it. You can if you feel like you want to. Okay, so we've got the water here, we've got the salt, we've got the quinoa. I'm gonna give it a little stir, and we're gonna bring it up to a simmer. And once it comes up to a simmer, we're gonna cover it. And you're gonna lower the heat. Once it comes up to a boil, we'll turn it down, lower the heat so that we can cover it and just let it cook slowly for about 15 minutes. Now over here in this pan, this is where we're gonna be cooking the onions. I can't stress enough, this little olive oil, how important it is to do your mise en place. Get everything ready, set, and laid out for you before you start cooking. It's gonna make a lot of difference in how you feel about cooking. It's less frenetic, less crazy, and you'll just like really enjoy the therapy of cooking as well. Cooking can be a very relaxing sport. Okay, also very soothing. So we're gonna cook this a little bit, and now you can see that my back burner is coming up to a simmer. And I'm going to take the lid and put the lid on it and turn it down to about as low as this burner goes, okay? So that's it. Now that's going to go for 15 minutes. I'm going to set my timer here in the front. Okay, so we got that set. And we're cooking the onions and the peppers because they are going to cook in about the same length of time. So we're going to give those maybe 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll add some of the other ingredients. Okay, this is 5 minutes, I nursed them a little bit. I went back and forth. I cleaned up the kitchen, washed a couple of dishes. I urge you to try to make that be part of your habit whenever you're waiting for something to happen. Turn around and wash a couple of dishes and put a few things away. It makes dining much more pleasurable when you know that you're not dreading going into that kitchen and cleaning up all that mess. Now that I've got our onions and peppers cooked a little bit, I'm going to add the garlic. I don't like to add it early because it gets a little bit, it cooks a little bit quicker. I don't like burned garlic, nobody does. So I added a little bit later. Now I'm also adding some roasted cumin and some turmeric. Both are really good for you, especially that turmeric. It's good for arthritis. It's good for your memory. It's good for just about everything. It's one of those wonder foods. So I do like it cooked, so I have it in here, and this point it'll be cooking a little bit. It does need it to take the edge off of it by cooking it a little bit. All right. So we're going to give these a couple minutes. And also I want to show you the quinoa over here. You can see it's simmering just a little bit. I don't know if it's all right to peek on quinoa. It's not, you're not supposed to peek on rice, but it looks like it's doing very well. You see it just a little active. So I think everything here is cooked. And now I'm going to add the yellow squash and the asparagus. Okay, I'm going to sprinkle a little more salt on it. And then we're going to do some fresh pepper. Again, I can repeat, always use fresh pepper. The pepper that comes in the can already ground, what happens is as soon as you grind it, it starts to lose its flavor. So fresh pepper is really going to make your cooking a lot nicer. So all these little tips that make your cooking better. Now you see how I've got this going here? I can see that it's going to need a little moisture in it. So I brought out a little water because I want these vegetables now to steam a little bit. So I'm going to put some water at the bottom. Right. Just a little bit, and then put the lid on it, and I'm going to let that steam for about another 5 minutes. All right, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. The vegetables look like they're just about finished. I'm going to give them a little stir. They look perfect. They smell great. Very pretty. Now you can use, again, any vegetables that you have. Just open that fridge and see what's there. You're just going to cook it in the order of the time that it takes. You're going to put the things like onions in first. If you're using carrots, you could dice them up. They should go in right with the onions because they take a while to cook as well. Zucchini goes in like the same as the yellow squash. We could put broccoli in. That's our quinoa. Ooh, this is... it's delicious. I love the cumin flavor. Okay, we're just down to our last minute on the quinoa. It looks done. I have a little spoon here. Oh, perfect. See, it's dry in the bottom. Sometimes the recipe will say drain, but if you do it just right, it's already dry. So now we're going to combine the two. I'm going to take the quinoa, and I'm going to put it right in here. You could do all different kinds of things. You could make like a nest of quinoa on the plate, or you could combine it all like I'm going to do here. I'm going to turn these off. They're finished. That's the official 15 minutes. So you can see it was done a couple minutes before, a minute or so before. And I'm going to stir this. Wow, it's beautiful too. This is for all your vegetarian friends. Now, if you don't want to make it vegetarian, you can use chicken stock when you're cooking your quinoa. Kind of flavored broth like that. If you vegetable broth, you could also use. But if you want to use chicken stock, it gives you a little more flavor. This is delicious. I can't wait to try it. I'm going to do it like this so I can... delicious. Very good. I might add a little bit more salt. A little more salt. But you can do salt to your own taste. And there you are. Bon appetit. Make sure you watch all of our videos, of my videos. Thank you for keeping me busy, and I hope you're enjoying this. Let me know if there's anything you want to learn. Enjoy your lunch.